and welcome to another edition of Giant Talk. I'm Brent Calvin, the Vice President of Student Services here at the College of the Sequoias, and I'm subbing in for Kevin McCusker today. Giant Talk is where we talk about all things giant, COS Giants, that is. And today our guest is Chris Mangels from our Theater Arts Department. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks.
So I understand that the theater has a production coming out, Company. Can you tell us a little bit about that production?
Yeah, Company is a musical from Stephen Sondheim. He's the lyricist and composer of musicals like Sweeney Todd, Little Night Music, Assassins. He's done Into the Woods, a lot of very sort of different, sort of edgier stuff. Company's from 1970. It's a musical about love, marriage, relationships. It's told from the perspective of one man, Bobby, as he encounters his 5 different married friends, and he's sort of deciding what he's going to do with his life. Is he going to settle down, or is he going to stay single? And it's even though it's a period piece and it's set in the 70s, it's a very universal message and has some amazing music and amazing. It's a really funny show also.
That sounds fun. Our spring musical will be The Addams Family, and you're also putting on a production of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I know these haven't been cast yet, but can you give us a little sneak preview on what we're expecting there?
Addams Family is a huge spectacle show. It's tons of special effects and craziness. You know, it's kind of what you've come to expect from that world. So it's got, we'll have some remote control stuff in it, some puppetry, you know, big musical numbers, huge dance numbers. There's a great number where they go and basically have a big party with all of their ancestors out in the graveyard. So it's a very sort of fun, macabre, high, you know, spectacle-ridden show. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I'm really looking forward to. We're going to do the show like the way the musical Avenue Q was done a few years ago, where basically you have a bunch of puppets. It's sort of like the Muppet Show, a bunch of puppets being worked by puppeteers that you can see on stage. So, you know, it's basically like Monty Python in space. It's very, you know, funny and ironic British humor, but set in the science fiction setting. So we're going to have a lot of fun on the COS stage with having 2 actors playing the 2 people and the human beings in the show, and then everything else will be puppets that they'll be interacting with. So it'll be a really good challenge for our actors and a really great opportunity for our audience too.
Sounds like a busy year.
Yeah.
Now, last year, your original adaptation of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream was selected by the Kennedy Center to be part of the American College Theater Festival. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What was that like for our students, and what did it mean for our theater arts program?
It was for the students. It was a huge coup for them. I think we had a lot of brand new students working on that show, so I think it was a really good way to get them excited about the program and the opportunities that we're working on now. It was an incredible challenge to take the show down south. We basically were all at the theater at 9 in the morning, built the entire set in 2 hours, did 2 performances on it, and then, you know, struck it all that night, and by 11 o'clock in the evening they were exhausted, but they had a great time, and the audiences down there responded really well. It was a great challenge for them to have to tour a show. That's always, you know, something we don't get a lot of opportunity to explore. And then the audiences, I think, sort of making our presence known in the larger educational community was nice. We had a lot of students who came up to us and faculty from other colleges saying how impressed they were by the show and how surprised they were what we did with it. So I think it's really good for the department. I always think that the best thing theater can do is be recognized. You know, we want to have a presence, and I think that the KCACTF really helps us to sort of establish that presence and have people looking forward to seeing more of what we do, which then spreads the word amongst high school students and, you know, area students. I've had students from Fresno who are graduating from high school this year that are talking about coming to Fresno, or coming from Fresno to COS to take theater classes. And that's you know, that's what we're looking for, is to be more than just an outlet for our local community, but for the larger community, that students would actually look at COS as a place to come to study. So.
And we see that as well. We feel like our theater arts program is a regional draw for folks. And I'm no theater expert, but I try to get out once in a while, and it just seems that our productions are of the highest quality. Can you talk a little bit about how our program does stack up with other community college and university programs in the state and maybe even across the nation? Because it certainly seems to me that we do a heck of a good job in these areas?
It's easier for me, sort of. It's hard, being subjective, being inside of the program, and I respect any. I don't know what personal challenges every colleagues at other schools have. I go and see a lot of the shows at other schools. I go to Fresno City and Fresno State and see almost everything they do. And I always think everything that I see at all the schools is impressive. Everybody has different resource levels that they're working with. I think that from a visual point of view, a sort of production value point of view, we do pretty well. Our costume designer, James McDonald, is, in my opinion, he's the best costume designer in Central California. He's an amazing designer. He really has an ability to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. We have such a dedicated group with Nick Terry and Steve Lamar and myself in trying to utilize stock pieces, old pieces, and make them look new. So I think our stuff tends to have some big wow factor visually, which is really nice for our audiences and for students. And talking to students who've gone off to other universities, and they come back and they all say that they felt sort of spoiled here with what we were doing as far as production values. They felt really taken care of as actors. They always felt like they were in really excellent costumes and excellent wigs, and felt, like it wasn't just, well, go do your show, it's just a play. People, we try to treat every show like it's a big event for our students and for our audience. And I think I wouldn't equate that as being quality or not, but opportunity. We have a lot of opportunity here, at the COS, that I think is a rare thing at a community college level, especially, where people really struggle to balance budgets. And pretty much everything that we do is coming out of fundraising or ticket sales. So if we have a bad year in ticket sales, it's hard to maintain the level that we've kind of built for ourselves, but we try to find a way.
That's super. And I think all that opportunity comes at a bit of a cost, and I think it's your time. Can you talk a little bit about balance and how you keep balance in your life? Because you can always count on seeing you and or James's car here almost 24/7, 300 and something days a year.
Yeah. There comes a point at which you say, am I teaching classes or am I running a program? And James and I understand that in order to teach classes, we have to run a program. So we developed a thing this year called the Artistic Company, which is 40 students are involved in it. Not all of them are theater majors, but they all have a real passion for it. And it sort of builds this more of a program atmosphere, because we have to, like right now, we have a show, that we've been working on, and I've got people who are building on it right now while I'm sitting here talking to you, So you have to sort of set the bar high if you want the students to be willing to sacrifice their time and energy too. You can't say, well, this is your problem. You have to say, it's our problem, and I'll lead the way, and you follow suit, and hopefully become like me, willing to do this, So
these productions annually attract thousands of spectators, and for those folks, they understand what our program's like and what our theater is like as well. But for those of our viewers that haven't been back in the last 5 years or so, you want to talk a little bit about the improvements that Measure I here locally helped us do to our theater, because it really is a great venue for these types of productions.
Working professionally around the nation, I think it's one of the best facilities I've ever been in. It's absolutely the best facility for the intimacy of the actor with the comfort of the audience. I think it's a really intimate venue. It's 400 seats, but we hadn't had a renovation in it since it had been built in 1978. So in 2009, when Measure I went through and we got a lot of the money to be able to do that, we were able to upgrade our lighting and sound system to be state of the art. New theater seats, which are so much better, so much more comfortable. A lot of energy efficient stuff too, which was really great. So we had pretty much all the electrical in the building taken out and replaced with energy efficient lighting. So it's a different vibe in there now. It's a very kind of a cool place to be, and it doesn't feel stark anymore, which is really nice. And I think it's a good environment for theater students who spend a lot of time in there, and it's a great environment for audiences to come into. It's a very welcoming space, and we have poster boards up in the lobby now to advertise upcoming shows and stuff like that. So we're trying to legitimize it as being like a regional theater, but we're a college, So.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's every bit of legitimate.
Thanks.
And Chris, I want to thank you for joining us today on Giant Talk. But more importantly, I want to thank you for all of your hard work that you and your group do to really put us on the map with respect to theater arts. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us today on Giant Talk. We'll see you again real soon.